Frank Caliendo lives in the greater Phoenix area, and he's joining us right now from his studio. Hey, Frank.
Hey, how are you?
Good. You're looking good. How are you feeling good?
Dean told me I was Benjamin Buttoning. I'm getting younger, and I think I see my hair on here because I didn't really do much with it this morning. I look like a cross between Conan O'Brien and Andy Richter.
You do. You've got that launching tuft right in the middle of your forehead.
Yeah, I think it puffed up a little bit, and I don't know when I put the headphones on, but I'm just glad to be awake, guys. That's what we're all about.
I bet
thanks for entertaining Kostaki and Willie. They're having a blast, and they said you guys had a lot of fun.
Yeah, they were great. I'll tell you, the beginning was interesting because I got an email the day before, because you talked to me a while back and said, hey, Willie and somebody else are going to be out there. Maybe you couldn't spell Economopolis. And I said, you say, hey, could you join them for a little bit? And I think in parentheses, you didn't say this, but in case they suck. And I was like, absolutely, I would love to. Anything for you within reason. And right. Everybody in the room knows that. Not what the audience is thinking, but Tom will just keep asking. Yeah, could you? Yeah, could you maybe do it? Yeah, no, anything within reason. So Kostaki sent like a 5-page idea. Originally he had this whole thing. He got overzealous with it. He wanted to do something really cool and different, and it was almost sketch-like. And I wrote back. My stomach was hurting that night, and I sent an email back. I don't know what you guys have been told, but I am a helper. I am trying to do as little as possible and still make Tom happy.
I get that a lot.
Which everybody in the room can still attest to.
Oh, yeah.
So it was one of those kinds of things. And then Dean chimed in, oh, no, don't worry. Sometimes he gets a little over the top on this stuff. But we got there, and I knew it was going to happen because you get inundated with so many different things, you can never get to all your ideas anyways, because everything's always running behind, the guests are behind, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it ended up, I think, going really well, and they found the niche they wanted to do. They used me in the right spots, and it turned out pretty good. I have to tell you, being in that radio row, for people who don't know what that media center is like, it's some of the greatest voices in the country and some of the worst faces going along with it.
Of course.
All at the same. And it's not just, we're not just talking regular radio, we're talking a lot of sports radio. So it's like sports writers on the radio. And that's, in the evolutionary scale, it's the negative. It's the part they don't even get to. They don't even show yet because it hasn't gotten to a point. So I was happy to be with. I'm going to tell you this. I don't know if this is what you want to hear or what. This isn't solicited. I was very impressed with Willie, and I didn't think I was going to be because I've only seen him in the. I've only seen him in the studio, and there's lots of people around, and he just chimes in here and there. He really took charge, and he was planning ahead.
He loves that stuff.
Yeah, he was really good. Thank you, other dad. He was really.
Well, you could have just texted Tom this if you didn't want me speaking up too.
No, I was impressed because he was businesslike, and then he saw Joey. My son was with me. It was one of the reasons I even wanted to do it. Joey was with me, and they're two adults, sort of. And it was kind of cool, and these surreal moments of, gosh, I remember when these were two little kids running around. By the way, Joey, my son, dressed like to the hilt. He had on this Kith stuff that's like very hip and with it, and he was wearing a pair of sunglasses, and he put on a Suns hat because of the Kevin Durant thing, and people thought he was my handler. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, they would all want to come into. Is Frank going to be available for? And Joey pulled out a fake calendar. He was just going with. He's like, listen, he's very busy today. He's going to be doing stuff at the Bob and Tom show from 8 to 9:15. I'll give me your name and I'll get back to you. And afterward, he's like, I saved you like 25 interviews.
Frank Caliendo is our guest, and you are a resident of Greater Phoenix. How far away is this convention center from where you live?
Just 30 minutes. It's not far at all. I mean, I live 15 minutes from the airport because I'm in Tempe, on the border of Chandler. So yeah, for people who know the pronunciation. So it's I'm in a really good location. And the guy who was somebody going to ask something because they just heard me stuttering.
I don't know. I was just
Or
was
you
curious.
guys falling asleep from me? I don't know.
With the Super Bowl coming to Phoenix, is it all over the local news constantly?
Yeah, I don't watch a ton of local news, but you see it everywhere. There's signage. Well, you guys know from being in town there too. When it comes to town, it takes over certain parts of the downtown. For us in Glendale, the stadium is 30 minutes outside of 25 minutes outside of downtown anyways. So downtown is where the NFL experience and all that stuff is right now, a very centralized location. And the people were starting to, Thursday it starts to get busy, and then Friday's crazy. So that's all starting to get there. Now parking, listen, part of the $9-10 parking was $40 the last couple days. So I was like, that's how cheap I am. I judge how busy everything is by the parking. Monday morning parking is $40. I have it. Don't worry, I have it. I got enough.
Okay, yeah, you've got it. Yeah.
Now you've been to a number of Super Bowls. I was trying to remember. Was it at the Super Bowl that you almost met George W. Bush?
Yeah, that was in Dallas. I was in Jerry Jones's suite. I'd get invited in there by Fox to meet George W. Bush. And George W. Bush was there. John Madden was there. They were sitting across from each other, and Jerry Jones was sitting in the middle of them.
Wow.
So it's kind of like, hey, well, I think we're in the right spot. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I believe we have been. This is my suite. So I got past the Secret Service, everything, and they didn't want to interrupt. The PR person from the Cowboys did not want to interrupt all of their conversation. Now, Fox is waiting with the camera for me to be on the Super Bowl. That I probably wouldn't be talking to you now because I would have been so big. Sure. Yeah. Hey, Tom, I'd be talking to. Maybe Chick. Maybe. Definitely. I had Christie's daughter, of course. I was going to say something really mean. And I was like, not Christie's daughter. And then I realized that's terrible.
Terrible, which is not what Kevin Durant is going to the Phoenix Suns. See how I did that segue?
That's nice.
Very good.
Frank, what would you have said had you been introduced to George W. Bush and John Madden? Did you have a line in your head?
Hey, are those fish sticks you're eating over there, man?
Yeah, I'm going to stuff these are hot dogs, stuff this into a chicken, into a duck, into a turkey, and then boom.
I guess I'd have had to say I'm sorry to both of them. That probably would have been. I do look young. I'm seeing myself on the screen. Dean wasn't lying to me. There must be a filter on this thing.
Did you have something in your pocket that you were going to say, or?
Well, definitely you can't have something in your pocket.
I meant
when you're going to see the president. No, not really. I probably just would. I knew it would have been like 10 seconds on the air. So they actually showed me during that Super Bowl at one point eating a hot dog or something. And they talked about Joe Buck and Troy Aikman talked about me for a second. And then, maybe, I'm not sure if that was the same. Nope, that was a different one. I've been on a lot of Super Bowls, guys.
It's hard to separate them, isn't it?
No,
I'll tell you this, after the Dallas one, it was funny because it was tough to get in there. Everything was screwed up. Bradshaw and I was with the Fox caravan and everything, and we couldn't get into that stadium. Everything was screwed up so much. They had us driving around in circles. But Michelle and my daughter and son came later, and after that, they had trouble getting in. It was a whole difficulty. They did get in for it, and then afterward, my son at the time, he's still my son, but at the time, this is what he said.
I love stuff like that, Frank.
My son said, do we have to go to another one of these Super Bowls ever again? I was like, you are the most spoiled brat in the world. And now he's like, why'd you have to go get fired by Fox, Dad? You should have been doing this forever. I'm like, nah, I mean, it would be cool. We could still go to the Super Bowl. It's just you're not gonna finish college.
You're not going to go, I gather.
No, I actually don't like going to the game. I know that sounds terrible. I like watching it on TV, and the reasons are: one, I'm the progressive becoming your parents commercial, where I'm worried about getting out of there before I even get to the stadium. I'm like, the parking's going to be awful, and with the police caravan, they're going to make it even slower. But you have to get there 3 or 4 hours early. It's far away here. And everybody talks about the commercials, the announcers, and the game after the next day on Monday. You miss a lot of the stuff that goes along with the Super Bowl culture other than the game. So I just like watching it on TV.
Yeah, I
the product
concur.
is so good. The product of how they film a game and play it back and replays, all that stuff is so good on TV, and people are kind of guiding you along in what's happening. I like it better.
Okay, Frank Caliendo was our guest. Any big live gigs coming up?
I think I'm going to be doing something in I don't know if it's announced. I think it's announced, but maybe not on sale yet. The Peppermill Casino in Wendover, Nevada, right outside of Salt Lake City. And I think I'm going to be doing something outside of Pittsburgh, a casino out that way in Pennsylvania in April, I believe.
Any new voices?
I always have new voices. Is what can I do with them? I think I figured out how to do Bob Odenkirk and Better Call Saul.
Oh, yeah?
But I can only do, did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do. And so do I. Hi, I'm Saul Goodman. That's all I can do. So I got to find a way to work that in, which it becomes Tony Romo. Oh, Jim. I've got Tony Romo as right now. My Nance is weaker than everything else, but my Nance and Romo has become. Hello, friends. Jim Nance, along with the car known as Tony Romo. Rev it up, Tony. Oh, Jim. 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 Here we go, Jim. Jim, what's he going to do here? I don't know, Tony. That's your job.
That's terrific. Frank Caliendo. Do you ever do in the Oscars, for example, they do that tribute to the actors and directors who died in that year. Do you ever do a salute to all the dead voices you do?
No, that feels very Fred Travalena.
Speaking of dead.
Yeah, but no, I've gotten more into this thing where it's like I'm finding voices that are close to each other, like I was talking there. If you take the Tony Romo, Jim, and you bring it down the back of the throat a little bit, and add some Kermit the Frog, it's Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, well, I mean, that right there and get a little rumble. That's that there, and I've done this before. I think for you, the John C. Reilly is in here because that's a little Kermit. Mark Ruffalo had air, and then Joe Rogan is, wow, Jamie, pull that up. Oh my God.
Those are all fantastic. Frank Caliendo is the best. Frank's going to be helping out my son Willie and Kostaki Economopoulos getting some cool video. As always, thanks, Frank. And Frank, I believe we're going to see you in the month of May. Is that correct?
I'm working on it. We were texting back and forth. My daughter has become a huge fan. So
we'll make. Yeah,
I'll get her an autograph.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah.
We'll make that happen. See you, Frank. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Boy, that was hilarious.